red light comes on. Hey, folks. Rick Berube here, Facebook Live on this Tuesday. It's a Tuesday, but it feels like a Monday, right? Doesn't it? Because we've had the long weekend, but it's the first day of the week, business week, but it's actually a Tuesday. So happy Tuesday, Monday. All right. But we are very fortunate here today on this Facebook Live to have from the lovely La Quinta office, George Lopez, ladies and gentlemen, as the studio audience goes crazy.
Now.
All right. And obviously, not obviously, but you were number one last year in La Quinta. Okay. You were also, right around $11 million in production. Great job. Okay. And so, George, I know you, and a lot of the people out there in the desert know you, but people in Nevada and Arizona do not. So tell us a little about yourself, how long you've been doing this, all that good stuff.
Well, I've been here in the desert going on 30 years. I was in the restaurant business prior to getting into real estate. Been in real estate now 14 years and running. Love it. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. I don't know what else to say other than I love being here in the desert. Even with the hot weather, doesn't bother me at all. So,
nice.
Anyway, any other questions?
Yeah. No. So you're in the restaurant business. How long have you actually been in the real estate business now?
14 years.
14 years. Good. Now, have you always been? Did it take you a little while to get in the groove you're currently in?
Well, I was fortunate. My mom's been a realtor for over 30 years, and my other other half is an escrow officer and has been for going on 28 years. So I've been around the business a lot, and it was a natural transition for me when I decided to make the change.
Ah, good. So it's like in your family and all that good stuff too.
Right.
Okay. All right. Good. And now you've got a team going on there too, don't you?
I do. Yes. I went the first, 12 years of the business, just doing it on my own, learned a lot on my own, what not to do. And I came to the realization if I wanted to get to the next level for me, and that was to start a team. I wanted to be able to share what I had learned, help others grow, and have more of a, to me, it became more like running a business. Even though we all say as an individual, run it like a business, but once you start the team, there's a lot of other responsibilities that come with that. But I welcome them, so it's been really great.
Good. Yeah, it's funny you say that. You learned what not to do. See, people always tell me, experience is great, but experience simply means doing it the wrong way first until you figure it out. So that's kind of a valuable lesson when you figure it out on your way, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And you can't let those things bring you down either. You just have to keep at it.
No, it's so true. You just got to have the goals and keep going, right?
Absolutely.
So is there anything in particular you can think about that you had to learn the hard way, or anything that stands out to you?
Well, I think in the beginning, I was just trying to feel myself out in the business, trying to learn the business. The one thing I say that was positive, I did, educate myself a lot. I went to a lot of classes, but one of the things I would say is one of the things you can't do is try to do too many things. You really want to focus on one or two things that you're good at, and don't try to get better at something that you're just not going to get great at. So that's what I've wanted to focus on, is what am I good at? And just focus on that. Do what you like doing.
It's so true, and Mark does a whole talk on that. It's also part of the 4-step business plan that we have here. If you say to yourself, well, I'm going to go door knocking, 3 days a week, but you hate it. Well, why would you put it in there? You're not going to do it, or calling or whatever. Now, at the same token, there are certain things that you need to do to get outside your comfort zone too. You can't. Absolutely. Right? Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. You have to test yourself. You have to, don't let that drunk monkey hold you back.
Exactly, that negative self-talk bouncing around in your head all the time, especially with all this craziness going on too, right? There's a lot of things that you could choose to be negative about right now.
Oh, absolutely. I'll tell you what, it's terrible to just even turn on the TV. It's too much negativity, from the COVID pandemic to all the bad politics stuff going on. I'd rather not focus any energy that way.
Yeah, I don't blame you. It is kind of crazy watching the news today. They really even shouldn't even call it the news anymore. They should call it, okay, this is my opinion of the news. That's what they should call it today. All right, it's not even really the actual news. But why would you want to waste your time watching that anyway?
Absolutely, I agree.
All right, cool. All right, so give us an idea, okay? 11 million, that's a lot of production, How do you do that? Like, what's your primary source? Give us a couple of ways that you do your business right now.
So there's two main sources. One, of course, is past clients, your database, sphere of influence that I've built over the years. But the other big source is I do a lot of online. I got two online platforms that I purchase leads for the team to help them, generate business. And those are the two main sources. But I'll say that the biggest thing is whatever you're doing, you just have to do it and be dedicated to it. I
Yeah.
always tell my team members, if the phone rings, answer it. You have to answer the phone if the phone's ringing. And if it's not ringing, then you need to make calls. And that's the bottom line.
Yeah. The phone works both ways, incoming and outgoing.
That's right.
Not all agents understand that, though.
Well, you know what they say. I know you've heard this, that, real estate is a contact sport.
That's right. You got to make full contact.
That's right.
Especially with football coming this weekend. Woo!
Oh, I'm excited.
Yeah, and I understand that even from the desert, you may be a black and silver fan. Is that correct?
Yes, that is true. I'm originally from the Bay Area, so I grew up a Raiders fan, and I've hung in there for the last 20 miserable years of them being horrible. But I think things are looking up. The new home in Las Vegas is promising.
I really do. I think John Gruden and crew got to give him a couple of years. Just remember now, even in New England, Bill Belichick's first year as head coach by himself, they went 5-11, and then the next year they went 8-8, and then you know what happened on the third year? They won the Super Bowl. But that's just the way it is sometimes, right? It takes a little while. I don't know, what were the Raiders last year? 7-9, or were they 8-8?
I believe they were 7-9.
Yeah, I think they were 7-9. So that's close. He's almost on the same projectile, and I love him because he's got such energy and facial. His you can tell exactly what he's thinking by the face he's making.
I know, absolutely.
Well, it'll be an interesting year this year, too, and the stadium is gorgeous, like you said earlier. So, all right. So you mentioned, so start with a sphere. Like, what's your routine for keeping in touch with your sphere? What do you do to make sure that you're maximizing your return on investment on that?
Well, I think the main thing is you definitely have to have a system in place. We have a couple of systems that we're using, so it can get a little time consuming at times, but having a system, using even what we have available to us here through that Mark's provided us, using that CRM and touching them as often as you can without being annoying, understanding who they are and how often you need to reach out to them, but you have to stay in contact. If you don't, you're going to miss out on business. That to me is the main thing.
You just touch base with them, check out things. Like there's a difference between being a salesperson and being obnoxious. I agree 100%. But most people will never, most people I've met in my coaching and so forth, it's very rare that I'll have somebody that'll overdo it. Most people underdo it. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely. I think most people do a transaction, they forget about those people.
Yeah, right. Well, that's what NAR says. NAR says that 78% of realtors after a closing never call their client again. Can you imagine that?
That's amazing. I can't even think of it.
Yeah. Well, we're in a business that, I hate to say it like this, but if you do your job well, you really stand out and look good, don't you?
Yes. I'll tell you what, in this business, it can consume you. If you're doing your job and doing the things that we just talked about, you'll have too much business. You'll be looking to start a team.
Yeah.
There's plenty of business out there, even in what's going on right now with the pandemic.
Yeah, I totally agree. You're 100% correct. Like people would say to me all the time, do you like competition? I love competition when I'm up against somebody for a listing, a contract. As a matter of fact, I prefer to go last. I tell the sellers, do me a favor and promise me you won't sign anything until we meet. And then they see another listing appointment or two, and then I come in. And especially with our tools here at Berkshire Hathaway and our name brand, it's really an unfair advantage.
Yeah, that's a great strategy. I like that as well.
Yeah, I do. Because I want them to, and plus I'm going to drop off a pre-listing package, which nobody else does. And my pre-listing package is from the VAC, and it looks really, let's face it, the marketing that we have is incredible. And then the other two people show up, they don't use that. And then by the time I show up, my presentation is different. It's easy. Now, if I'm up against a rock star and maybe one or two other people, then I want to go before the rock star and after the other, if possible, because I want them to see. If I know I'm going to be up against somebody, I definitely want them to see at least one if possible, because it's very helpful to mine, I think.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I like that.
Yeah. All right, cool. All right, so so you mentioned an internet leads. Tell us a little about that, please.
So I use two platforms. Obviously, I use the giant Zillow. That's one of the platforms. The
Yep.
other one I use is called Commissions Inc., and that's been really good. Matter of fact, one of my team members picked up a lead from that last week. We're opening escrow today on a 1.4 million deal. So
Wow.
there's business to be had. Now that platform is you. They're not all ready to go. So they're on a system. You have to nurture them. Some of them take. We had one. It took us 6 months to convert them, but they ended up buying a $620,000 home.
Right.
So it's going back to what we said, having systems and utilizing them to stay in contact with people, whether they're past clients or they're leads. We're nurturing leads to build a pipeline.
Right. Love it. Love it. Okay, good. Good, good, good. All right, so that's all awesome stuff, and the Zillow is a large, large one, and I think with those or with any other ones is whoever gets to them the quickest, right? Would you agree?
Well, I'll tell you what, they've evolved. Things have changed, and what we're in our market, we pay for X amount of leads and X amount of what we call live transfer calls. And how I have it set up with my team is that when a call comes in, we all have the number saved in our phone. And the call comes in, it's broadcast to everybody. So whoever picks up the phone first gets the lead. Those, we have a conversion rate. It kind of depends, it's up and down, but it's between 30 and 50%, which is really good. Because
Wow. Yeah.
most of those internet leads are, between 1 and 4%. So we love those, but we do it that way just to make sure we don't miss the call because they are a high conversion rate. So that's been really great with them. I used to hate Zillow. I mean, I hated them so much, I wanted nothing to do with them. And then I finally realized, hey, in order to get a piece of the pie, I had to, and to help get my team going, that was just one of the avenues that I had to sign up with.
Excellent. Excellent.
And it's not as simple as just signing up. You really need to do your research, figure out the zip code, figure out what your cost per lead is, and
Yeah.
and then make the right commitment.
Good. Good stuff. No, you're absolutely right, and they have changed things up. I talk to some people who like it, some people who don't, but it sounds like you're making it work, and that's great.
No, yeah, it's worked really well for us over the last 2 years.
Okay, good. Good, good, good. All right. So anything else you can think of before I move on? Anything else you can think of about creating business in today's market?
Creating business, I don't know. I think for me, what we just talked about is that's pretty much what
That's
I
the way you
focus
do
on.
it.
Yeah,
So
I don't like to, every now and then. I mean, there are different things that I do also. I've got an investor I'm working with. He wants to buy homes at a certain country club. So we go to our title people, we get a list of names, we give the criteria, and we just find out what meets his criteria, and we're marketing to those people to see if any of them want to sell. It's great right now because inventory is so low. Anyone that's thinking about selling, especially a lot of them are second homeowners, and they can't come out to our desert. So that's what we're focused on. One of the things we're focusing on right now. And obviously, try to get listings, whether they work for my client or not. At least we can try to get more listings that way. So that would be one other tool that I'm focusing on right now.
okay, good. Good. Love it. Look, and it looks like behind you, it looks like it's very sunny there. You're not getting any of that smoke, or are you getting some?
No, actually, we are very hazed over with smoke right now. So whatever.
So
you're
are we
seeing,
actually.
yeah, it's bad.
Yeah.
It's the El Dorado fire. Yeah, it's pretty bad down here.
What's your ROI?
Okay. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah. So anyway, so yeah. So perfect. I love it. So now let me ask you this, George, too. You have. I don't know if you've noticed since the pandemic. Have you noticed less traffic, more traffic, different traffic coming out to the desert since this all started?
Well, I'll tell you, obviously, right when it hit, we had the big, huge tennis tournament that was scheduled.
Right.
And so there was a lot of people in the desert. And then that got postponed. And it was like lockdown. That first March and April, it was like a ghost town. And in May, about the middle of May is when we really started to see things pick up. March and April were horrible. I'll admit, they were not good. I had 5 escrows canceled and I lost 2 listings. It was about $4 million in business. That was a little rough. But since then, it has been a wave of business.
I was going to say,
We've closed.
Yeah.
Yeah, since the middle of May through August, we've closed 12 transactions. We've got 5 in escrow right now, and we've got about 6 buyers that we're working with, and we have a couple of new listings coming up. So things have just been rocking and rolling.
Good. Where do you have people coming from? Like LA, San Diego, that type of area, or the Bay?
You know what's crazy? We're getting them everywhere. I
Yeah.
closed one in May. They were from Georgia.
Wow.
Um, but a lot of them are Southern Cal, San Diego, LA
Yeah.
area. We're getting a ton of those. A lot of them looking to buy the short-term rentals, which has been kind of overwhelming with that. But we'll take and sell whatever we need to sell.
Okay, good. Love it. Love it. Okay. Well, we're at that time now, George, where I need to ask you, okay, so if you were starting this over again based on what you know, going through an experience, having the experience you have, or if you're someone trying to take it to the next level, what would be the 3 most important pieces of advice you'd give them?
I think the first and foremost is get up and go to work and have a schedule, time block, and dedicate yourself to it. And I know that I time block, and there's many times that I time block for something and it doesn't happen because I get interrupted with something else. But you have to make it up. Don't just let it go. So typically my routine is I get to the office, my time blocking in the morning is all set for lead generation. First thing is responding to emails that have come in, and then I'm doing my lead gen. I try to set all appointments for the afternoon. We do make some adjustments with that in the summertime. In our really hot weeks, I might flip that and schedule appointments in the mornings and do my lead gen in the afternoons. But you have to lead gen every day. If you're not doing that, you're setting yourself up for failure, in my opinion.
So show up on time, have a detailed schedule, and make sure part of that detailed schedule includes lead generation, is what I'm hearing so far.
Oh, absolutely. And if you don't have appointments scheduled, then you just do more lead generation.
Right.
It's my goal is to talk to as many people every day about real estate. And if even if I can't talk real estate, I'm talking to people, I'm making friends or acquaintances, and somewhere along the line, real estate will come up. So my
Right.
goal is just to talk to as many people as I can.
Talk to so the first one we'll say is schedule and have it be time block. The second one would be you got to be talking to people. You got to have a lead generation source. And with you, obviously, we know it's your online stuff and consistently and strategically keeping in touch with your CRM. It sounds like.
Absolutely, yes.
Okay, so what would be your third one then? Because those are 2 really good ones. Anything else you can think of as far as?
And so here's the doozy, in my opinion.
Yep.
Follow up.
Ah,
Because so many people don't follow up. A lead comes in, they have a conversation, and for whatever reason, the lead goes cold or they start ghosting you. You can't quit. You can't give up. Just keep doing that follow up. Once you've contacted someone, you have a reason to keep contacting them. Keep reaching out to them until they tell you go away. So you have to do follow up. If you don't follow up, you're leaving money on the table.
yeah. No, the fortune is in the follow up, as the saying goes. And as you know, what I tell the people in my coaching and when I'm doing my training is, when you do follow up correctly, it almost feels like semi stalker lead follow up.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah, especially with your online leads, right? You got to probably call them 3, 4, 5 times sometimes before they call you back.
Oh, there's times we have to reach out 10, 12 times.
Yep. And that's what NAR says too. It's on average, it's 7 times before someone calls you back. 7.
Right. And once you've contacted them, it takes anywhere, and depending on the lead, sometimes they have a hot lead, they're ready to go. Sometimes they need to be nurtured, and it can take up to 12, 13 conversations in 2 or 3 months before that turns into something, into a transaction where you're fabricating something out of it.
Yeah. No, so true, so true. Most people when they when they're newer at this or when they're implementing a way to increase their business, they'll say things like, I don't want to be too salesy. I don't want to be obnoxious. I always go, salespeople, okay, when someone's selling their home and they want top dollar, they hire a salesperson. When someone's buying a home and they want to get a person to help them, they get a salesperson. So you can't be non-salesy to the right group of people. The only people that you seem salesy to are the people without motivation. And since we're not looking for people who aren't selling or buying, then it's kind of a natural filter, I call it.
Right. You just move on from those people.
Exactly. Next.
Yeah. Don't waste any time. Exactly. Next.
Okay, good. Now, so what do you think about this? What do you think? Okay, so now that we're back at it, you guys are all three markets we're in. I would even say we're in four markets because I would call Orange County up to Rancho Cucamonga different than where you are in the desert.
A definitely different market for sure.
Yeah, in Orange County, I mean, they have like zero 0.5 months of inventory in most instances, half a month. You guys actually have a little bit better than that. Your inventory's crazy, but not ridiculous yet, although it could get there, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping that we're riding this wave right now. I think with a lot of buyers, the pent up energy from the pandemic. But I think we're probably, in my opinion, and other colleagues that I've spoken to, I think we're going to start to see some listings hit in the market. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to need to sell just because of the pandemic, unfortunately. So I think we'll see a change in our listing inventory.
I really do too, because right now, up until now, and maybe for the next month or so, you're getting the people that are not afraid to do something and that absolutely have to or want to. But pretty soon, you're going to get the people that, well, I want to upgrade. Well, I want to go, I want to make a lateral move. Well, I've always wanted to live over there. You're going to get those people back in the market very shortly. And I think people from LA County, I think you're going to see people from Washington. You're going to see people from Oregon. You're going to see people from the Bay Area. You're going to see even more people because if you want to move out of the the larger cities on the West Coast, you're a perfect destination. Actually, so Scottsdale, so is even Las Vegas. So I think we're going to see some increase even in the numbers that we're already seeing. So it's been, if there's ever been a good time to become a listing agent, it's now.
I would agree with that. Yeah, I've read a few different articles suggesting the same, that we're going to see a lot of people in the metropolitan areas flocking to the suburb areas. People that would normally travel abroad will be looking for second home and vacation destination areas here in the country. So,
and not leave the country. That's the key words right there. Yes.
Right. So I think our market should benefit well from that.
Yeah, plus Palm Springs, that whole Palm Springs, Palm Desert, that whole area is just such a really nice, you can tell, thought out. It's very organized. It's a great area to, and if you love playing golf, as I know you do.
Absolutely. Hey, I've been here going on 30 years, so.
Yeah, exactly, right? It's great. All right. So any final thoughts you want to leave these wonderful people today, George?
All I can say is go out there and get it. Have fun with it. Don't kill yourself, overthinking things. Just do what you enjoy doing.
Yes, definitely don't overthink. It's like, what you just said prompted, real estate is one of the most awesome businesses because you get to be, you get paid what you're worth. You're an independent contractor, so you can do it your own way. I like to say with Berkshire Hathaway, you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself because we have such great tools to help you and so forth. But you get to, and the only vote that matters, how much you're worth, is you. So if you're willing to put the work in, you will definitely get the result. Thanks, George, very much for your time this morning. Really appreciate it. All right, look forward to seeing you in the future. And folks, we'll do this again on Thursday. Woo! All
right.
Thanks, George.
Thanks, Greg. Good to see you, buddy.
Thanks, man. And the studio audience goes crazy. Thanks, George.
See you later.
All right, buddy. Thank you.